What's up, everybody? I have some breaking news for you this morning. Around 1 a.m., we received a call from Arman Tsarukyan, who informed us that he was experiencing significant back pain due to the injury. He feels like he is not healthy enough to compete. So, he is out of the fight. Stepping in to face Islam Makhachev for the title will be Renato Moicano. Moicano's been on a tear since moving up to 155 pounds and currently holds the longest active win streak amongst all fighters in the top 10 of the lightweight division. He's won 6 of his last 7 fights, including his last 4 in a row, with 3 of those coming by finish. The guy is an absolute savage, and every fight he's in is a war. He weighed in on championship weight to be prepared as the backup in case something happened. And when we spoke to him this morning, I can tell you he wants this fight. And when I called Islam, Islam said, "Brother, I am the champion. I don't care who it is. I will fight anyone." Ladies and gentlemen, the pound for pound number 1 fighter in the world, Islam Makhachev versus Renato Moicano for the lightweight title. Live tomorrow night from the Intuit Dome in Los Angeles, California. I will see you there.
No, man, no. Like, why, man, why? Why? This is one of the worst things about the fight game. Pullouts, injuries, I know that they happen, but come on, man. First big pay-per-view of the year, one of the best stylistic matchups that the UFC could possibly put together. The rematch, Arman versus Islam. It was the perfect fight. It was the fight that should be happening. And Arman Tsarukyan pulls out with an injury. He has a back injury. Like, oh man, like I know injuries happen, but this is so frustrating, dude. This is so frustrating because I was so looking forward to this matchup between Arman and Islam. It was one of the best stylistic matchups they could possibly put together in the UFC right now. And I guess it's just a good thing that Merab and Umar has kind of been like the fight that everybody's been buzzing about. And don't get me wrong, like, yes, I'm very bummed about the main event, but at least we still have Umar versus Merab on the card. We still have some great fights. I'm just trying to be optimistic, man. This sucks, dude. This absolutely sucks. I was so looking forward to that fight. It was a huge legacy fight for Islam Makhachev. I mean, we were talking about if he goes out there and beats Arman Tsarukyan in this rematch, like, he's going to be the lightweight GOAT. And now here he is in a position to where Renato Moicano, where congratulations to Moicano. I absolutely like Renato Moicano. I think he's a great personality. He's kind of reinvented himself. He absolutely earned the opportunity to step in here against Islam Makhachev. But it's almost like, what does Islam get out of this? Yeah, he can, go in there and beat Renato Moicano, which I think he absolutely destroys him. I know Moicano has good submissions. He's got some decent striking. He doesn't have power on the feet. His wrestling's definitely not better than Islam's. And in terms of the submissions, like, he's got some good submissions, but, like, how's he going to beat Islam, dude? He's not going to out-grapple him. And in terms of the striking, Islam is way better on the feet. So to me, this is a complete mismatch, but props to Moicano for being willing to step into this opportunity. I mean, who would say no to step into a title opportunity? And Moicano, not that long ago, he was like, if something happens, he hopes something happens in a way because he wants to be able to step in and get a title opportunity. Man, this is so rough. And I'm just giving you my raw reaction after seeing this news. Like, this is crazy, man. Like, I didn't expect this. And everyone was kind of joking around, like, is Umar going to pull out? Is Merab going to pull out? And lo and behold, it's Arman Tsarukyan who pulls out here. Just the day before, man, the day of weigh-ins, the day before a massive title fight against Islam Makhachev, which was one of my most highly anticipated fights of the year, without question, the first pay-per-view of the year. This sucks, man. It absolutely sucks. I could not wait for this matchup because I believe that this was Islam's hardest fight. It was huge for legacy. Now we don't get it. Obviously, I hope Arman Tsarukyan is okay. I hope he, can recover, get healthy, and maybe they can run it back at some point. I just see the UFC, whether it's Arman's fault or not, we don't specifically know details. We heard it's a back injury and all those kinds of things, so I'd like to hear more details first. But I just feel like with something like this, right, the UFC, it's going to be hard for them maybe to throw him back in there for a title fight. Maybe I'm wrong there. I would still like to see the fight. This is crazy. The day before this happening, man. And again, don't know all the details, so I don't want to speculate. But was this the secret technique that Arman was talking about? Is this the secret technique? Because this is, the day before, dog. The day before, there's a problem here. Like, this sucks, man. This absolutely sucks, but again, this is the fight game. Stuff like this happens, but time to move on. Time to be optimistic because this is still an outstanding card, right? The co-main event, Umar versus Merab, outstanding matchup. Please don't have anything happen to that in some of these other fights. But in terms of the new main event, we have Islam Makhachev versus Renato Moicano. This is one of those fights that's an absolute mismatch. And again, Islam finds himself in a situation to where it's like not a win-win here because people are going to say, oh, it's a free title defense, but on the very small chance that Renato Moicano could go in there and win. Could you imagine? No one would ever let that down for Islam Makhachev. And again, he finds himself in a position to where he was preparing to fight Charles Oliveira. Volkanovski steps in, so he has to make, an opponent change to where here, I don't think that this is as crazy of a matchup, right? Volkanovski, one of the GOATs, for featherweight, he steps in. So yes, this is a more favorable matchup for Islam Makhachev without question. But Islam almost has nothing to gain from this other than defending the title to have set, to basically break the record for the lightweight title defenses. That's what's kind of on the line here, and that's what he gains. But in terms of legacy, this doesn't help. And he just went through a whole camp, this huge buildup for this massive fight with Arman Tsarukyan. And then he's not fighting. So this is absolutely, I'm trying to not rant so much here, but it's so frustrating. And this is unfortunately what can happen in the fight game. But props to Moicano. He was supposed to be fighting Beneil Dariush. The UFC said that they are going to take care of Dariush because now he doesn't have an opponent, obviously. But Moicano gets a big opportunity, the biggest opportunity of his career, and this is why, as a fighter, you keep chugging along, keep putting in the work, and you take opportunities because Moicano stepped in against RDA on short notice before, and he's been one of those guys that just steps up and just works with the UFC. The UFC's like, fight this guy, and he's like, sure, I'm ready. Goes out there, beats the brakes off of Benoit Saint-Denis. He's been on a tear, and we have seen this newfound guy with Moicano. His striking is improved on the feet. While he doesn't have crazy power, his volume is there. He has good decent wrestling of his own. I shouldn't say good. I think it's pretty good. I'll go ahead and say it's pretty good. He's got pretty good wrestling, but it's overall the grappling that he brings together, right? He's got good submissions. He's got good cardio, and the one thing about Moicano, he is as tough as they get. He's tough as nails. He's gritty. I call him Gritty Moicano for a reason. He's not going to give up on himself. And if you think that he's going to go in there and be scared of Islam Makhachev, you're out of your fucking mind. He's going to go in there and act like Islam is not the pound for pound number one fighter in the sport. So this is the perfect replacement to step into this situation. It just sucks because of the magnitude and what that fight meant, man. You know what I mean? That fight meant so much. But I believe Islam Makhachev is leaps and bounds ahead of Renato Moicano, right? In terms of the striking, Moicano has gotten better. He was getting teed off on by Jalen Turner. And I know Jalen Turner's an awkward matchup because he's tall for the weight class. He's a southpaw. He's got those long kicks up the middle. He's rangy. He's hard to deal with. But here we go. Another southpaw in Islam Makhachev who is incredibly technical on the feet. He's got very good kicks of his own, very good timing with the boxing. He was just in there outstriking Dustin Poirier. And we already know Islam was going to another level to prepare for Arman Tsarukyan. So I'm anticipating the best version of Islam Makhachev that we have ever seen this weekend, because you know that he was locking himself away knowing that Arman is probably his greatest threat inside the division currently at 155 pounds. So in terms of the striking, Islam Makhachev is much better. He's got more power. He can finish the fight on the feet to where Renato Moicano, I doubt he could do that. But one thing about Moicano, he's tough, he's durable, and whenever he seems to be counted out, he finds a way to go in there and get the job done. Do I think he gets it done? Absolutely not. I think he gets finished by Islam Makhachev inside 3 rounds, I'll probably say. I think he's going to get hurt on the feet. Maybe Islam is able to find a finish. The biggest thing here is Islam is way better at wrestling. Renato Moicano, yes, he has good submissions, but it's just different, man, with Islam. He's so well-rounded with the grappling, so I think it cancels out in terms of if Moicano's going to come in and chase takedowns, he's not going to be able to take Islam down, right? I'd be shocked if he was able to do that, and I know he's got good submissions, but Islam has very good grappling of his own, so in terms of if Islam wants it to be on the feet, that's where it's going to be, and if Islam wants to entertain the grappling, then we will have a grappler's affair here, but I don't think that happens. I think Islam might look to mix it up, right? Test some things a little bit, but I think the striking of Islam, his precision, the power is going to be way too much for Renato Moicano. However, Moicano's coming off of a great fight to kind of get him ready for at the last second here in Islam Makhachev, right? He was already preparing as well for Beneil Dariush. There you go. He was just preparing for a southpaw, a guy that has a big overhand left with Dariush, doesn't have, nearly as good a striking as Islam, but it's a southpaw. So back-to-back camps for Renato Moicano, going up against southpaws that have, decent striking on the feet, not as good as Islam, right? But they still have some power. They're still kind of dangerous on the feet, and guys that also have good grappling. So essentially, Moicano has had 2 camps preparing for something similar to an Islam Makhachev. Now, there's the mental factor, right? Renato Moicano, he's flashy, he talks a lot now, he's entertaining, and he's going to have to go out there against by far the best guy he's ever fought, right? Islam Makhachev is easily his toughest challenge to date. I'm happy for Moicano. I'm glad he's getting the opportunity. He was preparing for a fight. He was training. I like that, right? We have a guy that it's not like he's stepping in on a day notice, who's coming off the couch. Like people were talking about, where's Poirier? Where's Oliveira? No, forget that. It's too late. Don't waste a rematch of that essence, at the last second like this. I don't like when the UFC does that. Give a guy that was already preparing, a guy that was ready, who Dana White said was basically the backup here. Moicano weighed in at championship weight. He is ready. Reward him with the opportunity. Although I think Islam Makhachev dominates him, fair play to Renato Moicano. He was ready. He was dialed in. He's someone that's reliable, someone that can step in. Man, what a blow to this card. What a blow to the card. The good news is the co-main event between Umar and Merab has kind of been the fight that everyone's been buzzing about. Although Islam Arman, the rematch was a huge fight. I hope they can get that one back on the books. I just foresee the UFC having some trust issues here with Arman Tsarukyan moving forward. And I know injuries happen. I don't know all the details because I'm reacting right off of it. But I just find it hard to believe that the UFC is just going to be so willing to trust Arman come the next fight here, depending on kind of what actually was going on behind the scenes here. But again, happy for Moicano. Glad the UFC is going to take care of Dariush because, again, he loses a fight, right? So, he's not going to be able to compete on the card. So, I'm sure they'll take care of him financially. Sucks, but if there's a guy that deserves it to go in there and challenge Islam, that's not going to be afraid of him, is going to go after him and try to win the fight, Renato Moicano's the guy. So, and what's crazy is this is kind of like, remember Khabib's story, right? When he was kind of going on his run at lightweight, was supposed to fight Tony Ferguson. Ferguson kind of pulled out at the last minute. They were scrambling to find an opponent. And then Al Iaquinta steps in. So just an interesting thing here. Now that Arman pulls out of the rematch, Moicano steps in. Crazy how Khabib and Islam's storylines throughout their careers seem to have some similarities. And for Islam to accept Renato Moicano, even though, yes, it's an easier fight than Arman Tsarukyan, that is what the pound-for-pound #1 fighter is. A guy that is willing to fight anyone, anytime, any place. That's Islam Makhachev. You have to respect it. But if you guys enjoyed this video, please like the video, comment your thoughts down below, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you do not miss an upload. I would appreciate it. See you next time.